The Court of Public Opinion is a part of the Amateur Radio Network. If you would like to join the conversation, sign up and sign in to Chatwing. Search for us there at the Court of Public Opinion. We would like to hear your feedback. Contact us at Planet Radio and like us at Facebook.
You can dance, every dance with the guy who gives you the eye, let him hold you tight. You can smile, every smile for the man who held your hand neath the pale moonlight. But don't forget who's taking you home and in whose arms you're gonna be. So darling, say the last dance for me. Oh, I know that the music's fine, like sparkling wine. Go and have your fun. Oh, I know, laugh and sing. Yes, I know. But while we're apart, don't give your heart to anyone. But don't forget who's taking you home and in whose arms you're gonna be. So darling, say the last dance for me. Baby, don't you know I love you so? Can't you feel it when we touch? I will never, never let you go. I love you oh so much. You can dance, go and carry on till the night is gone and it's time to go. If he asks, if you're all alone, can he take you home? You must tell him no. 'Cause don't forget who's taking you home and in whose arms you're gonna be. So darling, say the last dance for me. Cause don't forget who's taking you home and in whose arms you're gonna be. So darling, say the last dance for me. Say the last dance for me. Say the last dance for me. Say
Thank you for listening to the Court of Public Opinion. We're going to talk about the dance of intimacy, right to the point. Actually, a lot of people can't discuss anything. They can't let their guard down. And that is an indicator that you might not be able to get to know those people. I've met people, I've known them, maybe close to 15, 20 years, that they're still very guarded. And hey, you know what? As far as I'm concerned, it's better that you don't try to make something happen. I learned something incredibly hard the last couple weeks, and I'm still trying to cope with it, is how to recover from a major setback or injury. And I tell you, I'm a different type of person behind the microphone today because of it. And I want to tell you guys, it's very, very hard to do radio and know that I'm restricted or I'm limited in the areas that I can't do the things I used to do. I've gone online, I've listened to a lot of news talk shows, radio shows. I really don't have the mind for it like I used to. You almost exhaust every option. I just saw a picture of my nephew online. He was paralyzed in a car accident. I'm going to share it. I'm going to I'm going to let the tape roll tonight. I just want to open up to some of you guys what's been going on in my life. My nephew was paralyzed November 22nd, and I've had a really, really tough time watching him struggle. And then on top of that, I had to have surgery while he was coming out of rehab. And my stepdad was paralyzed at the same time, so I just saw a picture of him, and he's not doing as good as I thought. And my family life has been, our family's suffered. So we've tried to do fundraising. We've tried to do a lot of things. We've reached out to people. And seeing your family crumble, I don't have words for it. I found a picture of my dad online, and I wish I had words for how hard it is to do radio every day. I pushed myself and I pushed myself, and I found out today that I realized that I can only push myself so far. And I listen to talk show hosts, but I don't have the head for it. We've been through a lot as a family, and if I get a chance to do these blog posts, I've had to cut down a lot of my work because I don't know where our focus is, and refocusing requires some time and praying and thinking through some decisions. I like what we do at the Court of Public Opinion because I think it's a good, healthy distraction once in a while, but sometimes there's just some things you can't get past. I ask you all, if you are praying, if you're a praying person, please pray for my nephew. He needs that hope. When I was starting to lose hope too, I know what it's like. You don't want to lose hope. When it gets to the point where you lose hope, you're wondering if God heard our prayers. And I believe wholeheartedly God has not ignored our prayers. Something has to change though. Up to this point, before my nephew's car accident, I ran into conflicts before, but it never hurt me that way. This time, I don't have the time. I don't have the time for negative people. I don't have the time for it. So I want to warm you guys up for something here. I'm going to have my sister on, where I'm going to interview her. I hope you are ready to make sure you have a big box of Kleenexes. But she's going to share with you what she's lived through. And I think every parent needs to hear about the opioid epidemic. I want you guys to know that here in Pennsylvania, we have opioid addiction it's killing so many people. People who used to be very high-functioning, wonderful people are now complete addicts. It's incredible to see how people have deteriorated. The families are deteriorating so quickly, too. This is taking the life out of communities. I'm not kidding you. It is literally taking the life out of the family. If you would have told me like 2-3 months ago that I would have saw a close relative deteriorate so quickly, I would have said, not ever did I think that. But in just a short time, this drug and drugs that are out in the streets right now they're literally meant to kill people. I mean, we're talking to police now. I mean, I think for the first time we've actually talked to people on a very real level about the opioid addiction and why the wall and why trafficking is such a big deal. But then you really go down that rabbit hole, like we were saying a couple posts ago about the red pill. This is real. You take the red pill or the blue pill. When I look at the United States map and I realize where the drugs might be coming from and what the whole point, maybe the objective. I heard a very frightening statistic that some of you guys are not going to like to hear. But just brace yourself for this, because the heroin trafficking does more business than the automobile industry in the United States. $1 trillion in sales. So if you were out of work and you're wondering what business to get into, well, it looks to me like the business to be in is trafficking heroin, because we're worried about our economy. And I'm going to tell you, as we go into this topic, I'm telling you that there are a lot of families right now need to be home with their families. They need to be at home. And the only reason I do this radio show is because we can stay home. So if you support us, it gives me and my sister and people like me the ability to work at home, because I thought that's what we meant to do. But right now, if that's not the case, then I'm going to go back to work, and we're just going to leave it to, shorter broadcasts. And that's why I made the changes I've made. But I will have her on. I want you to be prepared, because my nephew was paralyzed in a car accident, and the guy was texting and driving, another epidemic. And I also saw an article about digital marketing and how, we live in this vacuum of information. And, I wish there were more time to spend 2 hours on a talk show and delve into this topic. But there are broadcasts that have been covering topics about the scalar waves and what's happening in our atmosphere altogether. If you're not praying, and if you're not praying for your family, this is a time to learn how to pray, because a lot of people don't even understand the importance of praying. Praying is it is your Wi-Fi signal to God, the Lord. A lot of people say, well, that's crazy stuff. Well, you seem to use technology every day. You don't see the technology you're using, but you seem to have faith in that. So it's not far-fetched to believe, if you can't see where that signal is going, then how can't you see how can you make the argument that praying doesn't work? I don't know how the Wi-Fi signal connects to the cell phone. I just know it exists. But technology has made it harder and harder for families and people to connect. And I'm not disregarding the importance to have technology. It can be very useful, but if left in the wrong hands, it can be very dangerous. And that's what we found out the day my nephew was paralyzed. I totally believe, and I came to this realization today. I asked her to come in. I don't know if she's going to do it or not, but I want her to share with all of you what she's gone through, so that people can hear it from her. I don't often ask people to come in on a talk show segment, so if she does it, I'll be very, very happy to have her on. And I hope for the small audience that I have here, that you guys take the time to listen to what she's going to share with you. Because if you have teenagers, and if you've ever been through a traumatic event, or maybe you have been through a traumatic event, and she can offer insight in ways, but I really think it would do her a lot of good to share her story and really open up. And I can't think of a better place than to open up with people who really want to hear what she has to say. And if you would, and if you choose to do that, please let me know. I would like to have your feedback or any questions you might want to have me ask her and prepare her. She's not usually she doesn't do interviews, but she's been on TV several times due to my nephew's accident. She was interviewed several times by the local TV stations here. So sometimes if she hasn't been interviewed, you know what I mean? She's been through an ordeal though, and I hope that she does make the time to come in and share with those who might want to listen. And maybe there's something in that you could, maybe you have some concerns, and she might actually validate those concerns. And you can see why we've been working on these other additional projects. I mean, there's been several projects I worked on that everything's kind of on hold now, because I am going back to school and work, and we are on a limited schedule. We're doing these broadcasts on the weekend. I've been working on a lot of stuff to prepare for this new rollout come June 1st, but we're going to be, I think, ahead of schedule now. I worked double time on these, by the way, but by June 1st, what we're trying to do is limit our broadcast to just Saturdays, and this is kind of like vacation for me, because I did a lot of my work already. So a lot of the changes you might see on the channel, they've already been pretty much updated, and we're ready to go. And Saturdays, being that we'll do the Court of Public Opinion, we'll do most of our work on Saturdays. So if we do updates on the weekdays, it's going to be very limited because I work and go to school. But our Saturdays are all sectioned off, and we'll do some more Court of Public Opinion. But like I said, there will be posts, there'll be updates, but mainly our work is on Saturdays. So I used to do stuff like every day, and I still do Don't get me wrong, but it's now going to be downsized to Saturdays because of the summer, work, school. I have plenty on my plate. And one of the things I learned in all this is I bit off way more than I can chew. And we're going to discuss something completely different from this point on, because I realized that I don't want to eat up too much time explaining. I did the channel update. Hopefully you know what's going on. I made a lot of the changes. We are doing the Court of Public Opinion Saturdays only. Now, I might do some other broadcasts at random. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to do things. It's just right now I'm sticking to the Saturday schedule. I've been following a lot of broadcasts and posts, and I have to tell you, you have to really give a lot of extra time to reading the articles. And I want to know the topics. If I'm going to get into a topic, I better know what I'm talking about, because I'm just going to start rambling. And I don't want to do that. I'm freeing a lot of empty time up with things I don't want to be doing. And I have a lot of things I've been wanting to talk to my audience about. We have a small audience, and that's okay. Listen, it's a lot easier for me to manage a smaller audience than for me to be concerned about, 200,000 people with 200,000 opinions. Oh my goodness. That's like a punishment. If I got into 200,000 people with inner opinions, I don't know that I could do the Court of Public Opinion. I mean, now that's what brought a lot of you here, okay? That is what it is. But we are raising the bar, okay? We're not here to discuss our opinions. We can have a talk about almost anything. There are topics we do cover that have some significance. Like we just try to unravel the mystery here of the Seth Rich murder, which I'm not sure I quite got that story. I want to believe. I think a lot of us want to trick ourselves into believing that this isn't really happening, but that's the worst thing we could do, is deceive ourselves. Be true to yourself. Please know that. I mean, when a story like that gets in the hands of seasoned detectives, and I see that these, like Rod Wheeler, he is a former homicide detective, and he can unravel what I think everyone should know. When you can't find a file in the police department, that's incredible. I mean, see, those are topics today that are getting a lot of airtime, okay? But when we have to spend that much time talking about a news story, you have to really give this a lot of time. What I said early into this, and I was just shaking my head, because I knew when all this stuff came out about the WikiLeaks and the Podesta emails, I was just blown away. I'm like, I don't even know where to start with this. And looking back now, we were just overwhelmed by the reports and the stories that were coming out as a result of that WikiLeaks dump. And I really lost all faith honestly, in people. And that's not the way you want to go, okay? And one of the challenges a lot of us face is that we're all facing some kind of difficulties to some degree or another, but we don't want it to be a way of life, That's why I think we want to offer solutions here. When we discuss a topic, we want to have an answer for some of it. And I don't say that we have an answer for everything, but we do we do try to do our best analysis here on topics I think that might have a answer. And in some cases, you got a story that's really hasn't even gotten to court, and people are already weighing in. And that's one of the things that kind of the drawback of social media is that you got already people who've already created, I don't want to say they didn't do this on themselves, but, how do I word this? People weigh in on these topics because of social media. So there is a court of public opinion. And that's where social media is. And we're trying to take the conversation away from social media, and we're putting in a chat wing, because I'm going to tell you, the reason people are having the problems they are having is because they go to social media and they just blurt things out. And, it's just more reason why we want to pull it off, okay? I've been on social media plenty. I've said things too. I want to be as real as possible. There are things that have happened to me since we discovered social media, and I'm so happy we have a place where we could get to know and connect with people. But I had to create that chat wing for a reason, because I don't want to put the conversation. I want to get the conversation off of Facebook and get it to the chat wing, where you can really get comfortable and open up on a real level. I just don't think you can do it. I would not, knowing who Mark Zuckerberg is and who is behind him, you want to get your personal information off there. And with all this hacking and the ransomware, I wouldn't take my chances. That's why we have Chatwing. This is like our first line of defense. Right now, I don't want to be on Facebook. There are so many privacy concerns I've had. I can talk to you here on YouTube, and it's taken me a while to get my guard down. But honestly, if you guys want to offer some feedback, do it in Chatwing. Don't do it on Facebook. I mean, that's why I use that Chatwing. If people don't go in there, that's fine too. I have to know that we offered it, though. We cannot put our personal business out there anymore. It's just, you're vulnerable. There's a lot of things I've discussed in the past about situational awareness. You can tell that there are people that are not paying attention. And that's why I want my sister to come in and interview with us here, because she will tell you the reason my nephew was in that accident was because of texting and driving. I'm telling you, people are not paying attention. That's why I would rather be in a position where we're at least keeping the conversation under control and in our chat wing. I can't be responsible. And finally, because of that reason alone, is why we do that. Because you know that there are so many stories, at least recently, where, you know, people are attacked on the street or because they're a Trump supporter. That's why I think you gotta take in consideration. A lot of people are not paying attention. They need to rein it in. Take some time away from social media. Unplug. I've done a lot of this. You look at my channel update. There's a reason why we did this. Okay, we didn't do it because we just felt like being more creative either. I don't want you all to have that opinion of me. I pulled this stuff off for a reason. I've been wanting to remove our stuff off of social media and getting it back here. That's why I spent so much time building up the YouTube channel, so that we would get that stuff off there and you can go to Chatwing. So you know that information below in the description box will help you set it up and sign in. I mean, overall, we've made these changes because it's really important, and I don't want to give anybody the impression that we're not aware of it. I mean, we opened up Chatwing because we want people to feel comfortable with discussing topics that might be important to them. And I can't think of a more important time than to kind of just remove yourself a little from all this and take a step away from it and unplug from some of it. Plug into our chat wing. We have all that information in the description box below. I'm pulling away from it. I have to. I know it's important for a lot of you to do that same thing. I just want people to be aware of this. The reason why we did all the extra work on our YouTube channel was to prepare to remove ourselves from it. And I don't know, everyone to some degree is caught up in the matrix. Yeah, you make the choice of taking the red pill or blue pill, but I'm not comfortable with where things have been with social media for a while. So that's why we worked so hard on building up the YouTube channel. So that information below is my way of creating an environment where people can discuss their opinions without, you know, a backlash. It's been going that way for a while, so look for the information below. Sign in and sign up. Join the conversation there. I don't want to be out on Facebook and Twitter. Let's do it there. Let's get it off this radar and let's focus in it there. I want to invite my friends on Facebook and Twitter or wherever I met you to the chat wing. That's why I took the time to work on this. Thank you.